Well, the wind has subsided, and I'm so glad to be here on this beautiful day. And we're in the Cancer Survivors Park here in Minneapolis, downtown. An amazing artist, an amazing producer and engineer and songwriter. You're going to hear all about it, Mr. Steve Wiese. How is it that you came to be connected with Funky Town, the studio, Sound 80, when it was recorded? Because I think I met you first back some 35 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, when was Funky Town? 78?
It was 30 years ago-ish.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in a small town south of Minneapolis, about a half an hour, and after high school, did a couple years of college, and then sort of tried to figure out what was going on with my life. And so I started a small basement studio in 1974.
Right.
And we were there for about a year, and then we moved into Bloomington, which is a suburb of Minneapolis, right? And moved into a house there. And I met a guy named Steven Greenberg.
Yes, absolutely.
And my business partner at the time was a professional musician. And during that period of time is when the Larry Graham bass poppin', right?
Funky, yeah, right.
So Steven needed somebody who could do that for the flip side of the song Funky Town, which was called Rocket.
Yes, I remember.
And so my partner, Terry Grant, I said, you should try him. Terry's doing this thing. And so Terry wound up playing bass on Rocket, and Steven and I then developed our friendship. And I knew the guys who worked at Sound 80 and the owners of Sound 80, Herb Pilhover and Tom Jung. And so we became friends over the years, and I became a peer of theirs, and I'm still recording music now, 36 years later.
And so you worked some at Sound 80.
I did.
And you remained at Creation.
I did.
And the building was a studio for some, how many years? 50-something years or so?
Well, since 1954, so 58 years now.
And so what are you doing now there in the studio still? What kinds of things, how are things different than they were back then?
Well, it's now 3 studio rooms inside my complex, the Creation Audio Complex. There are 3 studio suites and several offices upstairs. But the music that comes through, because each suite is a small, medium, and large, the music that I get in my large room tends to be, I do more big band jazz, or I do more orchestral kind of things, because there aren't many big rooms left.
No,
a lot of small studios, a lot of computer-based studios.
That's right.
I have a lot of microphones in a big space, and so I get that kind of work. The other 2 studios are more driven by producers who are working with songwriters, and they will get smaller bands in, but they're also players, and they are developing the songs from a ground up, from the first instrument up kind of level, and working with artists. But for me, it's changed a lot because I developed in 2000. I developed a relationship with a French producer, a guy who's done several hundred records. And he found me through a jazz recording that I had made that he knew of. He knew my name on it, and then asked a friend of his in St. Paul if she knew a good studio, and she called a friend of hers, Terry Grant. And so Terry said, well, my old partner, call him. And when Jean Richard and I got to meet, and we're still making records now, but this was in 2000, and so I've maybe made 12 or 14 international kind of jazz CDs with him, where he brings musicians from England and Paris and France,
all over the world.
The coastal area, the Normandy area. He'll bring them here and then hook them up with Michael Bland and Sonny Thompson and create a fusion of different sounds. And it's been very successful.